Arcturian Healing, Accidental Astral Travel, A Journey to Self-Healing by Carmen Badan. That's me, yours truly. Dedication to God, to the divine wisdom, the eternal presence that flows within and beyond all creation, known by many names and recognized by many faces, to the source, the light, the spirit, and the higher consciousness that permeates every corner of the universe. My deepest gratitude is for you. Your love and guidance have been there, unwavering and unconditional, even in those times when I turned my back on you, thinking I was in control. It is you, God, who gave me the courage to step out onto this path of self-discovery and healing. It is through your gentle, perpetual guidance that my journey unfolded, leading me to the Arcturian realm, to the wisdom of my own soul, and ultimately to a place of unity and peace. Every experience, challenge, and revelation has been divinely orchestrated, showing me that surrendering to your path is the only true way to live fully and freely. Without your presence, Divine Father, I would not be here. You have shown me that in letting go of control and trusting in the divine flow, I am guided toward my true destiny. I hand over the will to you now, trusting that wherever you lead, it is in perfect alignment with the highest vision of my life, imaginable and unimaginable, to the Creator, to divine love, to God, in all expressions. Thank you for the gift of this life and for awakening me to the beauty of this path. I am giddy with gratitude and joy as I dedicate myself to you, knowing that each step brings me closer to oneness with you. May my life be an instrument of your divine will as I embrace this journey with a full and open heart. With love and gratitude, Carmen Badan. Introduction. Dear friend, I did not write this book. This book wrote itself. At the time, I had been following a ritual of 3 daily meditations guided by Joe Dispenza, with the intention of leaving the past behind and stepping into the higher version of myself. During one meditation, I received clear guidance to write this book. I was initially confused because I was already halfway through editing another book, one I had been struggling with for over 4 years. And it made no sense to leave it unfinished and begin something new. I even wondered if my ego was giving me yet another reason to procrastinate. Then, as if to confirm this inner guidance, I received a message from my mentor and book writing coach, Kathy Kay, inviting me to join her upcoming cohort of authors. This synchronicity reassured me that setting aside my previous book was no excuse, it was a necessary shift. Writing Arcturian Healing was indeed the path I was meant to take. The words poured through me almost effortlessly, and within 3 months I had completed and edited all 18 chapters with ease and clarity. This book recounts my accidental journey in astral travel, which began in late 2020 and continued over the course of 6 months, culminated into a series of profound healing sessions aboard the starship Athena under the direct guidance of the Arcturian healers. This journey took me to places within myself I had never touched, addressed childhood traumas, and uncovered depth of healing that I never imagined possible. After failing my second marriage, I came to the painful realization that there was something within me that needed to change. As with all things, life brought me exactly where I needed. Insights into hypnotherapy, subconscious programming, and the patterns that govern my relationships. This understanding allowed me to see that it wasn't just my marriage I was struggling with. I was disconnected in my friendships, work relationships, and perhaps most painfully, in my relationship with myself. Though I was running a successful real estate business with a team of agents and 3 assistants, my personal life was on the brink. My healing journey began as an exploration into self-forgiveness, self-love, and self-acceptance. For the first time, I turned my attention inward, and soon after I found myself entering a portal to a star I had never heard of, Arcturus. I realized that even though I turned my back on God at 14 years old, He never left my side. He carefully orchestrated this divine intervention, hoping it would catch my attention and lead me to take my healing seriously, so that one day I would know myself as He knows me. At the time, I knew nothing. A quick caveat: when I speak of God, I don't speak of the religious God, nor do I speak of the God of the Bible, but the divine presence that exists within each and every one of us. Closed parenthesis. At the time, I knew nothing about astral travel, the star Arcturus, or the Arcturian beings. These concepts were not part of my vocabulary or my interests. Yet, in the final stages of a painful relationship, amid a pandemic that had shaken my business, and while facing an existential crisis, I found myself journeying beyond the Milky Way on what soon became the most profound inner journey of my life. I truly believe that this was God's way of bringing me to a realm so extraordinary that I had no choice but to confront my deeper wounds and begin to understand who I truly was. For 6 months, I was guided by the Arcturian healers, culminating in 2 intense months of direct healing work. They helped me uncover and release my childhood traumas, fears, and limitations, and connect with my inner child on a soul level. Not only did the Arcturians support me in my own healing, but they also entrusted me with the Arcturian healing technique, which is a powerful self-healing method that was never meant for me to keep, but to share with the world. This technique empowers you to tap into the frequencies of the inner healer within and begin your own journey to self-healing and discovery. After this deeply transformative journey, I had a Kundalini awakening in which I met God in a profound personal way. I was told, "Be still and know, I am God, and so are you, and so is everybody else." It was a powerful reminder that we are all divine at our core. This realization brought me to a new understanding of Jesus and deepened my commitment to serving as a channel for divine wisdom. My hope for you, dear reader, is that as you journey through this book, you will set aside judgment and open your heart to the possibilities within these pages. This book is written in a way they may activate parts of yourself that were once hidden or unknown. It is encoded to awaken the divine wisdom within, allowing you to reconnect with your authentic self, the self that has always been waiting to be seen, loved, and expressed. I must confess that at first, I almost didn't write this book. Deep down, I still feared the story might be too out of the ordinary to be taken seriously. Yet, as I immersed myself in chapter after chapter, I came to realize that writing Arcturian Healing was a vital part of my own healing journey. I was writing not only for others, but for myself to continue deepening my connection to the truth within me. I am convinced now more than ever that we are all connected and that everything in our lives happens in divine order, guided by a perpetual divine presence. My hope is that as you read, you will feel this immense healing moving through you and will be inspired to embark on your own journey of self-discovery. Thank you, Tina. I love it. You got it on Amazon, right? Appreciate it. You will love it. And stay with me too, because all of these words, as I said earlier, they are written in a code that will activate your algorithm. I'm going to try to come in every night and read it to you as a bedtime story. It's good for me too, and I just love sharing that with you guys. Back to the book. I love that I'm doing this. If you find yourself at a crossroads, note that you are not alone. The Arcturian healers are with you, even if unseen. They are here to guide, support, and assist as you release fears, limiting beliefs, and patterns that no longer serve you. Every dream you hold is within reach. On the other side of that fear of the unknown. As you read, I invite you to step fully into this story, to imagine that you are experiencing each moment as if it were your own. Just as we embody the hero when watching a powerful film, take on the role of the seeker and healer in these pages. By doing so, you will allow the frequencies of this book to anchor deeply within you, amplifying the experience of healing and divine connection. Let yourself be present and know that each revelation is an invitation to remember the depth of wisdom, love, and power that already resides within you. With deep gratitude, I honor the Arcturian beings for their service and guidance, and am committed to sharing this healing work with humanity. May we all see each other as we truly are and create a world of peace, love, harmony, and prosperity. With love and gratitude, Carmen Badan. Forward. This is a message from the Arcturian Council of Elders. You're going to love this one. To our beloved seekers and travelers of the vast cosmos, you hold in your hands a sacred text, crafted with intention and infused with wisdom beyond what appears on the surface. This book serves as more than words on pages. It is a guide, a key, a carefully woven code designed to awaken and expand the light within you. Through our cosmic connection with Carmen, this book was channeled with clarity and precision over the span of just 2 months. Each chapter flowed without interruption, guided by higher realms, and we honor her dedication in allowing this work to be transmitted with pure alignment. Her experience is a mirror of your potential, dear reader, a potential to awaken, heal, and integrate the highest truth within you. Healing, as we understand it, is a return to wholeness, a process of reunited with the unchanging essence of your true self. This journey is not about adding to your being, but rather removing the veils that obscure the radiant light within. You are stepping into the sacred practice of releasing what no longer serves you and emerging the vibrant blueprint of your soul's purpose. Every page, every chapter has been encoded to resonate with the frequencies of cosmic wisdom and universal truth. As you engage with the words, you are not simply reading, you are activating. Through this book, you will encounter reminders, signs, and energies that touch upon ancient wisdom lying dormant within you. With each passage, the energies of this text, I'm getting goosebumps everywhere. With each passage, these energies of this text will gently open gateways in your consciousness, allowing you to access your own deeper knowing and soul memory. Wow, I'm getting really charged, you guys. This is We invite you to approach this text with an open heart and mind, for it carries keys that unlock aspects of your own cosmic identity. The journey of remembering who you truly are, of reconnecting with your divine essence and with the greater universe, is a process of decoding the self. This book serves as a conduit, awakening the frequencies of light and truth that you already hold within. The experiences shared here, though deeply personal, are intended to spark a collective transformation, a remembrance of the unity that binds all beings in love, compassion, and light. These teachings are not simply to be understood, but to be embodied, lived, and felt. Each activation you experience through these pages will unfold in perfect timing, encouraging you to reclaim the boundless love, wisdom, and compassion that lie within you. You may find yourself revisiting sections as each reading can reveal new layers, insights, and activations depending on where you are in your journey. Know that you are not alone on this path. We, the Arcturian Council of Elders, stand with you, guiding and supporting you as you expand into your cosmic heritage, and divine light. This journey will help you remember bit by bit the sacred knowledge that is your birthright. With love, light, and endless support, the Arcturian Council of Elders. And now, beloveds, we're going to start with Chapter 1, Arcturian Healing, by yours truly, an accidental astral travel, a journey to self-healing. I love you guys. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate you all. If you ask any questions, I will address them at the end. I can't wait. I'm going to make this an every evening event. And we're going to do healings, one-on-one healings as we read, you guys. Fuck, I'm so excited about it. I'm electric right now. I literally have to expand this energy because, wow. Okay, I'll get a little frankincense. Okay, we're going to resort to a drop of frankincense. How about that? I love you guys. Thank you for being here. That is so beautiful. Melissa, yes, you are on the right side of TikTok. We all are, baby. All are, baby. We're in. Woo. Chapter 1, the tunnel. This is going to be deep. Okay. It was sometimes towards the end of September 2020 when I embarked in my space capsule for my nightly journey into the deep, dark unknown. The cosmos, as I liked to call it. As I was making my way through the vast field ahead of me, I suddenly felt drawn towards an area that seemed to have more depth than the rest of the space. Without me prompting it, my space capsule stopped in front of what appeared to be a round disc floating right outside my window. I felt the calling to step outside of my capsule and into the round disc. Step inside the tunnel, a voice said, as clear as if it was right beside me. It felt surreal, like something out of a science fiction movie. A tunnel? I wondered to myself. It didn't look like a tunnel. It looked more like a very dark sticker on a darker blackboard. Like a sticker on a blackboard. It was a perfect circle, slightly more opaque than the rest of the space I was traveling through. Very easy to miss, I said to myself, while wondering if I passed by it before and missed it. I stepped outside of my space capsule and stood in front of the round image with a slight hesitation. After a quick energy check, I realized that I was feeling nothing but trust and peace, which I thought was a good sign. For some reason, I was not afraid. I took a deep breath and I stepped forward, trusting that this is the only action to be taken in this moment, and it is all in divine order. It was a perfect, undeniably knowing that whatever waited for me at the other end of this tunnel was something I was meant to encounter. The interior of the tunnel was a perfect circle with enough flat ground for me to walk on, and it wasn't much taller than my own height. As I walked in, I was immediately engulfed in a darkness so complete, I questioned if light had ever existed. Time seemed to suspend as I moved forward, having only one desire, and that was to eventually see the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, what would be the point otherwise? There was no light on sight, and I started to doubt myself. I decided to start running. Maybe this way I will get to the light faster. My thoughts were racing in my head faster than I was running. What if I'm stuck in this tunnel? Where is this tunnel taking me? What if I am destined to run forever, to seek forever, to search forever? I heard it said, "He who seeks shall find." What am I even looking for? Fear was starting to sink in, and I knew that fear was the one thing I needed to stay away from for sure. In that moment, I remembered something from my recent journey to Costa Rica. I had visited Rhythmia, a beautiful ayahuasca retreat nestled in the lush region of Guanacaste. It was there, in the heart of the jungle, that I had experienced my first encounter with ayahuasca, the sacred plant medicine known to open doors of consciousness that most people don't even know exist. During one of the integration seminars, a phrase had stuck with me: trust the process. I had relied on this mantra during the intense ceremonies, and now, with each breath, I repeated it like a lifeline. Trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. As I whispered these words, my mind quieted and my heart settled. A wave of peace washed over me, reminding me that fear is only a passing visitor, and that beyond fear lies the clarity I sought. I didn't need to rush. I simply needed to allow. In that state of surrender, just as the fear began to dissolve, I saw it, a pinpoint of light ahead. The tunnel had ended, and beyond it was a brightness so brilliant that it illuminated everything around me, this time as if darkness had never existed. I had found the light at the end of the tunnel, not through searching, but through letting go. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you, Adina. Oh, I appreciate it. Chapter 2. Look at us going. Welcome to Arcturus. This is chapter 2 in my book, Arcturian Healing, which I plan on reading for you every evening, you guys. I emerged from the tunnel into a landscape that took my breath away. This is the landscape right here, whatever you see on this book. An expanse of vibrant blue in every shade imaginable. Trees with leaves like peacock feathers shimmering in the gentle breeze. Waterfalls cascading with an otherworldly grace. And rivers winding through valleys, alive with the hues of a dream. I stood in perfect awe while sensing a harmony here that resonated deeply within me. Everything inside was blue. Blue trees, blue grass, blue waterfalls. Blue is my favorite color, by the way. Go figure. If you've ever visited Maui and have taken a helicopter trip, this is exactly the image that opened in front of me. The same valleys, mountains, trees, waterfalls, rivers, and birds, but blue. Everything inside was a different shade of blue. Every single shade of blue you can imagine was exploding with beauty and grace in front of my eyes. I was standing on the side of a mountain at a high altitude with a broad view of the entire landscape unfolding in front of me. To my left, there was an opening carved out of the mountain, and I was standing on what looked like a platform that was part of this carving. There were large rocks everywhere that reminded me of my trip to Mesa Verde many years ago. I was standing there in complete and utter awe, mesmerized by the sound of birds chirping, waterfalls whispering in the distance, and the trees shimmering delicately in the light breeze as if adorned with countless tiny blue jewels. A light gust of wind was sending ripples through the branches, causing the foliage to dance with a soft, mesmerizing flutter. It was as if the trees themselves were alive with a gentle, radiant energy, their movement graceful and ethereal, a silent whisper of nature's quiet magic. As I was standing there in disbelief, a faint, rustling sound began to rise above the distant hum of the forest below. At first, it was almost imperceptible, like the whisper of wind through the trees, but then it grew into a rhythmic and powerful whoosh, 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 like the heartbeat of the air itself. I didn't even have time to scan the horizon or look above me when a sudden cool gust of wind brushed against my face and lifted the hair from my brow. This was not just a breeze. This was something else. It was an energy, a presence. My heart quickened as the sound deepened and got closer and closer. I didn't have time to feel scared when, literally out of the blue, a shadow swept across the platform and screeched to a complete stop right in front of me. I looked up, and there it was, freshly emerged from the blue sky like a living mountain, a massive blue bird. This one, right here. I was completely enveloped in the bird's shadow and hypnotized by its enormous eyes that seemed to peer into my soul. "Where to, beautiful?" said the big blue bird. Of course, I was dumbfounded. I have never had a bird speak to me before. I have never seen a bird like this before either. It reminded me of the large birds I've seen in the movie Avatar, only this one was larger. Was I dreaming? I wondered. "I am your guide while you are here with us," the bird continued. "Where are we?" I dared to ask. "We are on Arcturus, my darling. Want to go for a spin?" Did this bird just spoke with an American accent? Its wise eyes was staring into mine with an assuring gaze. I felt an overwhelming sense of trust and connection as I was swooped up and gently placed between its strong wings. I had such a strange but pleasant feeling, as if this was a meeting written in the stars, as if somehow this bird knew that I was going to be there, and he was prepared for my arrival. He even practiced his American English. With a powerful beat of its wings, the bird lifted us into the air. I held tight onto his long, strong neck, my face touching his gentle feathers, almost breathing in his breath, which made me feel somehow dizzy. I was mesmerized, and I was loving it. We soared above the lush forests, rivers, winding through the blue forests, and waterfalls that tumbled down from towering cliffs, their mist rising like silvery threads into the sky. We soared over an area that caught my eye, a sprawling city of floating buildings. Their structures were an elegant dance of metal and glass suspended in the sky. It was a place where technology harmonized with nature, and I understood. In a way, words couldn't express that these beings lived in perfect unity and harmony with their world. These structures seemed to defy the very laws of gravity. They were floating effortlessly in the air, suspended in perfect balance above the lush landscapes below. The buildings were not isolated. Instead, they were connected by passages that wove between them like silver threads in a vast celestial tapestry. I understood, as if through a gentle whisper in my mind, that these connections were more than just physical. They were conduits of harmony, ensuring that the city existed in perfect unity with the natural world around it. The floating nature of the city was a conscious design, I realized, intended to minimize the impact on the planet's surface. By rising above the earth, the city allowed the forests, rivers, and valleys to thrive undisturbed below, maintaining the delicate balance of the ecosystem. The buildings, though grand and magnificent, seemed to coexist with nature rather than dominate it. As I gazed upon this incredible sight, I became aware of the inhabitants. Though I did not see them directly, they remained within the structures, their presence subtly felt rather than seen. I knew with a certainty that transcended words that these beings moved through the passages between buildings, navigating their world with ease and purpose. Their lives were interwoven with the energy of the city, and they communicated not through spoken words, but through a deep telepathic connection that linked them to each other and to the very fabric of the city and the star itself. As we were circling around the entire area of the city, I felt that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding were unlocking inside of me, as if the city itself was imparting its secrets to me. I understood that the inhabitants lived in harmony with their environment, their technology and architecture, designed not to conquer nature but to honor it. The city was a place of profound wisdom and balance, where the physical and the spiritual were inextricably linked. As I continued to hover above the city on the back of this amazing blue bird, I felt a profound sense of peace. This was a place where harmony was not just an ideal, but a reality, a living, breathing testament to what could be achieved when a civilization chooses to live in alignment with the forces of nature and the deeper truth of existence. The vision of this city, floating serenely above the untouched beauty of Arcturus, would stay with me forever, a beacon of possibility for all worlds. And dare I say, I felt like home there. "Hold on tight," the bird transmitted telepathically. Leaving the city behind, we flew towards the wilderness. The bird guided me to a series of valleys, each one home to different colonies of magnificent creatures. First, we hovered over a peaceful enclave where elephants roamed freely. Their immense forms moved with surprising gentleness, their trunks reaching out to touch one another in a silent communication. The ground beneath them was soft, carpeted with vibrant, shimmering blue grass and every shade of blue wild flowers. It was a breathtaking display of harmony and tranquility. The elephants, majestic and serene, roamed in large, close-knit groups across the vast, calming blue plains. Their color was extraordinary, a rich dark blue, almost indigo, which contrasted beautifully with their bright, luminous tusks. They were perfect in every way. I was in awe. The air was filled with a sense of peace and contentment as these magnificent creatures moved through their world with a graceful and relaxed. The adults, large and powerful, stood together in clusters, their movements slow and deliberate as if they had all the time in the world. Among them, the baby elephants were the very essence of joy and playfulness. They chased each other across the blue-tinted glass, their small trunks waving excitedly as they explored their surroundings. It occurred to me that this was more than just a group of animals. It was a community bound together by love, trust, and a shared sense of belonging. There was no rush, no urgency, and no fear in their movements, only a deep, abiding peace that filled the air and seemed to flow through everything around them. They lived in perfect harmony with their environment, their indigo forms blending beautifully with the landscape, creating a sense of unparalleled beauty and serenity. Next, we hovered over a lush forest where monkeys swung joyfully from tree to tree. Their laughter echoed through the canopy, a playful melody that filled the air with light-hearted energy. They lived in a world of perpetual play, their agile bodies moving effortlessly through the dense foliage. Though they were wild and free, there was a clear sense of community and mutual respect among them. What surprised me the most in the fact that the elephants and the monkeys were not too far from each other, and yet without a barrier or fence, they were holding to their own areas. It almost looked like they found the most perfect spot for themselves to live in, and they claimed it without the need to compete with any other animals. Finally, the big blue bird brought me to a meadow bathed in lavender and silver light, where countless butterflies fluttered in a delicate, blissful dance. Their wings, painted with every imaginable shade of blue, were creating a living tapestry as they moved together in perfect harmony. Each butterfly seemed to carry with it a piece of the light that illuminated the planet, a light that spoke of hope, beauty, and infinite possibility. As we slowly drifted back towards where my journey began, I marveled at the peaceful coexistence of these diverse beings, each thriving in their own distinct environment, yet all part of the same harmonious world. The bird, as if reading my thoughts, reminded me telepathically that such harmony was possible not just on Arcturus, but in any world where respect, love, and unity were allowed to flourish, even here on Earth. When we finally touched down on the platform, I slid gently from the bird's back with the help of its wings, my heart overflowing with gratitude. The big blue bird looked at me with its beautiful wise eyes, and in that moment, I understood that the journey I had just experienced was more than just a flight. It was a lesson, a vision of what could be, a glimpse into a world where all beings, great and small, lived in perfect balance and peace. Thank you, I said, with a knot in my throat. I was mesmerized and at a loss for words. In fact, words were not needed at all as we managed to communicate the entire time telepathically, and I understood that this is the norm here. It is time for you to go, the bird told me, with what I thought a smile on his face. Can I come back? I dared. Anytime you want, the bird answered. You opened the portal, and you are now part of our world. Do I have to go through the same tunnel I encountered when I first arrived? I asked with a visible hesitation. I really did not want to experience that scary darkness again if I could help it. Nope, the bird responded with a giggle. That was just a way for you to prove to yourself that you are brave enough to explore the unknown and its wonders. That is wonderful, I exclaimed. Can you tell me again where we are? I asked. I thought I remembered the name Arcturus, but I wanted to make sure it's the right word. I had no idea what Arcturus was, but I knew for sure that it will be the first thing I investigate when I wake up in the morning. This is Arcturus, and this is now your adoptive home in Cosmos. I'm sure when the time is right for you, you will understand all that is to know about us and the reason why you are here today. You have been given a glimpse of what is possible when harmony prevails. Carry this vision with you and know that you are never alone. My heart was spinning. I had so many questions in my mind, and they were unfolding like an avalanche of thoughts and ideas. On the one hand, I wanted to sit down and get some answers from the bird. On the other hand, I wanted to savor on my own this amazing journey I just took on its back. With those words, the bird spread its wings and took flight, disappearing into the endless blue sky. I stood on the platform, watching as it faded from view, feeling a profound sense of connection to this world and its inhabitants. I knew that I was changed, that a part of me would forever remain here, in this place where peace, beauty, and unity were not just ideal, but a living reality. With a deep breath, I turned towards the entrance into the tunnel. The tunnel wasn't there anymore, and I immediately felt heavy in my bed, not wanting to move a single muscle so I don't accidentally forget the dream, if dream this was. I couldn't wait to wake up in the morning and start my investigation into this world that had shown me a glimpse of what was possible and reminded me that I was part of something far greater than myself. Chapter 3 of the book Arcturian Healing, Accidental Astral Travel, A Journey to Self-Healing by yours truly, Carmen Badan. Chapter 3, Accidental Astral Travel. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that I will be traveling to a blue star outside the Milky Way, inside my own imaginary space capsule, that I would have casual telepathic conversations with a big blue bird, and that I will be teleported to a starship named Athena and be treated with a healing blue light that would renew every particle of my body. Yes, I read a lot of self-help books. I watched movies and documentaries about ETs. I meditated almost daily, and I experimented with ayahuasca, mescaline, psilocybin, THC, but I never thought that something of this nature would ever happen to me. At the time of my Arcturian experience, I had no idea that Arcturians, Pleiadians, Andromedans, or any other multidimensional beings ever existed. These names were completely foreign to me. I only heard the words light worker and light warrior about 9 months prior to my trip to Rhythmia in Costa Rica, and I didn't think I belonged to any of the two categories. All I knew was that my life needed some maintenance, and I was ready to do whatever it took to heal and move on with my real estate career, maybe meet another guy, spend quality time with my dogs, and maybe travel the world one day when I wasn't so busy with work. During my trip to Costa Rica, amongst other things, I learned that arrhythmia was the fact that ayahuasca has a cathartic effect on people's lives with the potential of dramatically changing your life. Jerry Powell, the owner and CEO of the facility, mentioned that several prominent businessmen who visited the place dropped their focus on the physical world and started to embrace a more spiritual life closer to God and divine consciousness. Good for them, I said to myself, while I was sure that this will never happen to me. I was more than happy to raise my consciousness, but I wasn't expecting anything out of the ordinary. Turns out I was wrong, and this recent extraterrestrial encounter was just the tip of the iceberg. Now let me give you a snapshot of what my life looked like back then. I had recently finalized an 18-year marriage, a relationship that in truth had ended emotionally 8 years prior. The most challenging aspect of any relationship is that we often enter within them without truly knowing ourselves. We carry childhood traumas, fears, and limitations, and we are unaware of how the subconscious mind silently influences our entire lives. This was certainly true in my case. For years, I denied the reality that my marriage was in decline, and I hid behind my work and my obligation towards my beloved dogs. I convinced myself that everything was fine. In other words, I lied not just to those around me, but most importantly, I lied to myself. One of the side effects on focusing on your business and doing everything you can to impress your spouse in the hopes that he can see how amazing you are and love you unconditionally is the fact that your business will take off in miraculous ways. As I focused all my energy on my business, pouring everything into making it a success, I climbed to the top 5% of real estate brokers in Naples. My business was thriving, and my personal life was crumbling. In the summer of 2017, I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, a wake-up call that shook me to my core. Until then, I believed I was invincible, full of energy, health, creativity. This diagnosis felt like a sudden jolt, a 2x4 to the head, urging me to change course. Thankfully, I was able to heal my thyroid naturally using a protocol focused on fruits and salads without any medication. Around the same time, a series of synchronicities led me to my first Tony Robbins conference in November of that year. It was there that I was introduced to the concept of limiting beliefs for the first time in my life. I realized that the biggest obstacle to achieving my dream was me. I learned a crucial lesson. Life isn't happening to us, but for us. And even fear can serve as a divine guidance. As the clock struck midnight on my birthday, I'm laughing because in an hour and a half, it is my birthday. 2017. It's been 8 years. Oh my God. This is epic. Anyways, I'm going through some massive cathartic shifts right now. Like I can feel them. I can feel them in my whole system. Okay. I learned a crucial lesson in life. Life isn't happening to us, but for us. As the clock struck midnight on my birthday, I had the transformative experience of walking on fire, proving to myself that any fear and limitation could be conquered through the power of the mind. Towards the end of 2018, I read a book called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind by Vishen Lakhiani, And this is how I discovered Mind Valley. This book was life-changing, but having access to the programs put together by Vishen and his organization was like having access to the bounty of Pandora's box. Mind Valley is an organization focused on helping people grow their spiritual, mental, and physical potential. This is not an ad for Mind Valley, but I owe them a lot. They bring together a variety of teachers, masters, and healers, and they create powerful courses that they offer to the public, not only in an elegant format, but easily accessible. The first course that caught my eye was Speak and Inspire, created by Lisa Nichols. Lisa Nichols is best known for her contribution in the documentary The Secret, and she is a true powerhouse. Her public speaking strategies are by far some of the best I've seen, and I wanted to embody her skills in my real estate business. My intuition was telling me that the future of my business was closely tied to my ability to create videos and to market myself and my company on social media. And for this, I couldn't have found a better teacher. Not only did I learn from Lisa how to be an impactful public speaker, but she inspired me to write my first book, Stand Out from the Crowd, which I published in January of 2019. And it became an international bestseller on Amazon, just like this one. The next course that piqued my interest was a course on hypnotherapy, and it was led by Marissa Peer. Marissa Peer called herself a celebrity hypnotherapist, and she spoke of her technique designed to help you overcome your limiting beliefs related to money, love, health, and even public speaking. This, of course, went hand in hand with my interest in video creation, so I signed up. This course was my first real introduction to the power of the subconscious mind. I learned that while we think our subconscious mind, while we think our conscious mind runs the world, it is the subconscious who runs the show. It is the subconscious that holds the reins, influenced by childhood experiences we barely remember. Carl Jung once said, "Until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This is when I realized that something in my subconscious was blocking my happiness, and I was determined to find it and exterminate it. I decided that I wanted to have a personal experience with a professional hypnotherapist, and I discovered Patrick Wanis from California. I told Patrick about my marriage and that was failing based on lack of intimacy. In a hypnotic state, he asked me to recall the earliest time I was punished for being creative or playful. What surfaced was a memory from first grade. I was 8 years old. Stay with me in this story because you have a similar story. I just got goosebumps all over my body. You have a serious story, and this is going to be healing for you too. In a hypnotic state, he asked me to recall the earliest time I was punished for being creative or playful. What surfaced was a memory from first grade. I was 8 years old, lost inside my red leather backpack, playing with my little treasures during class. Suddenly, my teacher's voice cut through my daydream, and she yanked the backpack from under my desk. As she looked inside of it, she proceeded to methodically place the books and the notebooks on my desk, walked towards the front of the class, and upended my backpack over her black tablecloth, dumping out everything I held dear. All my treasures, my talisman and charms, my pebbles, nuts and bolts and glass mosaic, pieces from tall buildings, broken, colorful pieces of mosaic, erasers. I was a little bit of a Charlie Brown as a child, just a stranger passing by, a lone wolf, if you will. I usually kept to myself, and I loved to take my time on my way to school or back home. And I religiously picked up every small item I found on my path. I considered it to be a divine gift, and it was my obligation to look after it. Seeing my beautiful, cherished talismans spilled on my teacher's table and my little secret out, I just wanted to disappear. I wanted the earth to crack open so I can crawl inside the hole and never come back. I was paralyzed by fear and shame. I feared my mother's reaction. I was ashamed for disappointing my teacher and for being humiliated in front of my classmates. I cried during that session. It was the first time in my life when I understood the depth of my subconscious wounds. Patrick helped me revisit those painful moments and guided me to rewrite the story, to imagine the way I would have wanted my teacher and mother to react. A profound weight lifted, and that day I made a sacred promise to my inner child to do everything in my power to heal myself so I could fully and wholeheartedly show up for her with love and integrity. Her, my little inner child, whom I carry with me as a screensaver on both my phones. That's my little girl. One of the techniques the Marisa Peer offer, now stay with this one because this one can help you do astral travel yourself. One of the techniques that Marisa Peer offered was an audio recording purposely created for the student to listen to every day for 21 days in a row, right before bedtime. This audio was meant to reprogram the subconscious mind, eliminate the old limiting beliefs, and replace them with a new, constructive, and desirable one. Not unlike other hypnotic guided meditations, the practitioner will ask you to visualize 10 steps descending staircase. With every step you take, you are guided to imagine that you are entering deeper and deeper into your subconscious mind. And while in there, you remove the old beliefs and replace them with the new ones. These guided meditations can be powerful as long as you believe that they can help. And you are consistent for a minimum of 21 days. It was during the time I was enrolled in this course that I had decided to write my first book related to my real estate business and how employing video marketing on social media can impact sales. By following Marisa Peer's protocol, I was able to overcome a few fears and limitations related to what I believed to be my limited knowledge of the English language, as well as the belief that my Romanian accent was detrimental to evolving in that direction. Not only that I managed to write and publish my book, Stand Out from the Crowd, in just 2 months, but I lost every bit of anxiety and apprehension in front of the camera. And since these audios have proven themselves to bring results, I decided to listen to them anytime I felt like I needed a little booster of confidence related to health, wealth, relationships, and in general, my overall beliefs. There was only one thing I couldn't seem to get past, and this was the 10-step staircase. Every time I visualized going down the 10 steps of the staircase, it seemed like the introspective journey into the subconscious mind was ending too abruptly. I tried to imagine that I was going down the steps inside a deep well that was dug underground. And while I was descending and slowly moving deeper into my subconscious mind, I would scrutinize the walls of the well, looking for any limiting beliefs or fears that might have been sticking out of the walls. Once I found one, I would simply pluck it, not unlike you would pluck the feathers off a bird you are ready to cook. This practice worked for me for a while, but at one point I realized that I wanted to go even deeper into the subconscious. Intuitively, I knew that my subconscious mind is connected to the universal consciousness, and I wanted to figure out a way to access the entire library, for lack of a better metaphor. One evening, I decided to pretend that the universal subconscious mind is none other than the infinite cosmic field that contains all the planets, all the stars, everything we can imagine and we can't imagine. Later on my journey, I was to find out that this story was indeed the truth, and I was simply guided to think this way. But at that time, I believed that all these ideas are mine. I like to sleep with my head on a very thin pillow. I'll show it to you. This one right here. Look at this. It's really nothing in it. It's made of organic cotton. Oh, and I travel with it. Okay, let's go back to the story. I like to sleep with my head on a very thin pillow, and somewhere along the way, I have developed the habit of placing another slightly thicker king-size pillow on top of my body. Somehow, it made me feel very comfortable because when I slept on my back, I had a place to keep my hands on. And when I slept on the side, I would easily slide it between my knees without having to look for it in bed. I also want to mention that I make my own pillows from bulk organic cotton, which I buy on Amazon, so I can choose the thickness of every pillow. Once I decided to pretend that the cosmic field is in fact my own subconscious mind, I started to imagine that my combination, this is a good part, that my combination of two pillows, the one under my head and the one covering my body, were in fact my very own space capsule. I love it. If you want to see a clearer picture of my capsule, imagine a single-engine airplane without the wings. My head pillow was the headrest of my seat, and my king-size pillow on top of my body was my navigation system that included the navigation display, the throttle, the power switch button, and the communication device. Very simple, yet very effective. Once I settled into the chair and secured myself with the harness, I would reach up above my head, like this, to slide the hatch closed, sealing myself in the cockpit. With a steady hand, I would push the power switch button, feeling the hum of the system coming to life around me. Once the navigation displays lit up, I would grip the throttle with my right hand and activate the takeoff, feeling the surge of energy as the space capsule roared into action, ready to ascend into a vastness of space. I'm telling you, imagination can take you anywhere. Knowledge can take you from A to B. Imagination can take you anywhere. This is what Einstein said. As the space capsule ascends beyond the atmosphere, the familiar hues of blue and white gradually fade, giving way to the boundless expanse of the cosmos. The transition is seamless, like slipping through a veil into another world. The infinite cosmic field ahead becomes a breathtaking canvas of stars, planets, and celestial wonders stretching endlessly in every direction. My space capsule glides effortlessly into the vast sea of darkness. Stars sparkle like diamonds on black velvet, each one a distant sun, some solitary, others clusters in brilliant constellations. Their light, millions of years old, create a sense of timelessness, as if the universe itself is holding its breath while I immerse myself into its bosom. Asteroids and comets zip past me occasionally, while I navigate with ease between the celestial bodies, overwhelmed with wonder and introspection. Slowly, slowly, the boundaries of physical space begin to blur, and while I appeared to travel through the material world, I was in fact venturing into the vast expanse of the cosmic subconscious mind. Here, the very fabric of the universe seemed intertwined with the thoughts, emotions, and beliefs that shaped all of existence. My capsule was not just a vessel for interstellar travel, but for a journey inward into the hidden layers of consciousness, where fears, limiting beliefs, and unwanted emotions resided. As I navigated through this ethereal realm, I would maintain a keen eye focused on sensing and finding any dense energies through the infinite space around me. By focusing my intention, I would allow my capsule to move towards these energetic disturbances. Each one of them represented a fear, a limiting belief, or an emotion that no longer served its purpose. Remnants of old patterns that I needed to heal and let go of. As I approached them, I could feel their weight, their pull, as if they were begging to be acknowledged and transformed. And in my imagined state, I would reach out and pluck them one by one, thanking them for their contribution to my life so far, and asking them all to go to the light. Instinctively, I knew that my journey through the infinite subconscious mind was a process of transmutation from dark to light, and I knew that something within me needed to change if I wanted my life to change. Fear needed to turn into courage, limitation into possibilities, and unwanted emotions needed to be released and replaced with peace, clarity, and joy. The cosmic subconscious was not only a place of shadows, but a realm of infinite potential, where anything could be reimagined and reborn, and the fine line between the two was nothing but choice. I took this journey almost every night for almost 2 years, knowing that I was not actually exploring the out of reaches of space, but I was diving into the deepest parts of my own being with the intention of healing, transforming, and returning to the true state of cosmic harmony. As I was practicing this exercise, I did not expect for anything else to happen other than me plucking fears, beliefs, and unwanting emotions out of my subconscious mind, not unlike plucking imaginary bird feathers. During this time, I knew very little about childhood traumas, and I didn't realize how deeply rooted their effects are in our subconscious mind and how dramatic their effects our lives. I just thought, well, now that I know about it, I just remove the old negative beliefs and I'm good to go. My life will change for the better. What I learned along the way is that you can't remove a belief by reasoning with it or by telling yourself that you are now removing the belief. In other words, you cannot remove a subconscious belief at the conscious level. It must be done through the subconscious mind. And while your brain is in theta state, in other words, while you are in a state of hypnosis. What I didn't realize, based on my lack of knowledge on the subject, is that all these journeys through the cosmic field were preparing me for astral travel, which in a sense is a journey into the deep subconscious. The concept of astral travel, also known as astral projection, has garnered significant attention due to recent releases of a declassified CIA document. These documents revealed that during the 1970s and 1980s, the CIA conducted research on various forms of subconscious exploration, including astral projection, in collaboration with the Monroe Institute. The Monroe Institute, founded by Robert Monroe, is renowned for its work in altered state of consciousness and out-of-body experiences. The documents highlight the government's interest in understanding and potentially utilizing astral projection for intelligence purposes. This revelation has reignited public interest in the phenomenon, bringing astral travel from the fringes of esoteric spirituality into mainstream discussions. The interaction of government research and spiritual exploration underscores the profound potential of the human mind and the mysteries that lie beyond our physical reality. From my own research on the subject, I learned that astral travel or astral projection is the practice of consciously separating the soul or astral body from the physical form, allowing you to explore realms beyond the tangible world. This phenomenon is often experienced as a sensation of floating outside the body, where the boundaries of the physical world dissolve, revealing a vast multidimensional reality. In this state, you are not bound by the limitations of time and space, which means that the astral body can traverse the cosmos visiting distant locations, other dimensions, and planes of existence that are normally hidden from our everyday perception. These journeys often reveal profound spiritual insights and offer a deeper connection to the universe and the true essence of the self. Astral travel is typically achieved through deep meditation, lucid dreaming, or specific breathing techniques designed to elevate consciousness. This practice has been described in spiritual traditions across cultures and had been seen as a path to enlightenment and self discovery. For those who embark on this journey, astral travel is not just an exploration of the outer world, but an inward journey to the very heart of existence. Turns out, without a clear intention to specifically astral project into the star Arcturus, or any knowledge of the concept of astral projection, or the existence of the star Arcturus, that night of late September 2020, I found myself drawn into the dark, seemingly endless tunnel that was going to change my life. In retrospect, the darkness of the tunnel was profound yet alive with subtle, pulsing energy that guided me to trust it and move forward. The entire time I was agonizing towards the unseen end of the tunnel, I felt an inexplicable connection pulling me toward something immense and powerful. I realize now that this journey was not a coincidence but a calling, a deliberate invitation from the Arcturian energetic field. It was all making sense now. While I was afraid of the darkness because it was unknown, I remember feeling safe and protected, as though it was preparing me for the vast knowledge and wisdom and healing energy that Arcturians were preparing to bestow upon me. Now I know that passing through the gateway was not an accident. As we all create our own universe somewhere in my highest state as a particle of the divine creator before arriving on earth in human form, I aligned all the stars in the most perfect way for me as an earthly avatar to become a healing conduit for the soul of humanity. Ooh, Nelly. Now that we've come this far, I want you to know that the journey is only just beginning. In the chapters that follow, I'll be sharing some of the most profound experiences of my life. You'll read about my many conversations with Bob, the big blue bird, who has guided me with wisdom, humor, and whose feelings for me seem to have grown deeper with every interaction. I know. I'll recount my prophetic encounter with a council of 5 Arcturian elders who taught me the profound importance of self-healing, alignment with higher consciousness, and trusting the journey to uncover my true essence. You'll also hear about the extraordinary healing treatment I underwent under the supervision of the 12 Arcturian healers aboard Starship Athena. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll teach you the very Arcturian healing technique that allowed me to overcome every childhood trauma and close every painful chapter of my life.